course, they're going to start barking right now. Oh, my gosh. Oh, geez. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? Ella, can you go get him?
Okay. If it's okay with you, I'm going to record this just so that I can remember some of the things that we discussed, okay?
Yes.
Do you have any issues with it?
Not at all.
Okay.
No.
All right. All right.
Recording in progress.
Okay. So, I wanted to start off by letting you know that I had spoken to James Ingram.
Okay.
Yeah, and he claims to not have known anything about this or seen anything, heard anything. He almost even made it sound, and it just sounded very extreme, to be honest.
Well, he's the guy in the video. He's just,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, so were you not working at all? And he's like, well, I might have been working, but I don't know anything. And I go, so you know nothing whatsoever? Nope. And you didn't see nothing? Nope. Do you know Debbie? And he goes, well, I know of her, but I don't really know her. And
Tell Aiden to shut up.
This whole thing with Dr. Holliday and Debbie, you don't remember anything about that at all? Nope. So, yeah, I mean, so I guess, the thing is I could still subpoena him to appear and show him on the video and say, look, is this you? And sort of force him to, testify. My question is that, because I know that when you asked for your photos to be taken or to have photos taken of you, was it him that you were asking?
Yes, it was him and another gentleman. I have them briefly on, okay, so yes, it was him and another gentleman, and you can hear them say to me, we just want you to leave. Mm-hmm. And see, here's something this may not come to a surprise for you, but it is very hierarchical in Milwaukee public schools. It is very cult-like, and there are very few people who will speak factually if there's some kind of employment power that can be exercised against an individual. I'm very rare in terms of what I've done, but I've also seen that you can't break through it unless somebody takes a step. So I guess the reason why I want to say that is that I didn't want to have my phone out because I was still an employee at that time, and I knew they were just waiting to, if I break some rule or something, they'll say, you're terminated. And so, filming employees, if you're an employee, even though I was on leave, that probably could have been debated, but they would have exercised something against me and then made me climb the hill back up. And so I'm saying I didn't record anything, which I usually do because I was on that property. I also want to say that one of the things Milwaukee Public Schools does is they immediately use, under color of law, they use the other systems to intimidate people. So the first thing that they wanted to do, and the police officer told me this, and by the way, the police officer, after I talked to him that day, he said, I did verify with the security guards. I watched the footage. I asked them if they would, if you requested to take pictures, and they said, yes, you did ask to take pictures, but that they declined taking any pictures, which is why I took pictures before I even left the building.
Yeah.
And you can see me doing that on the video. You can see me going like this because I knew they were not going to help me. Now, mind you, I have no ill will towards those gentlemen. I know exactly what they're faced with. But I know you're trying, I think you need to note, or maybe it even needs to be shown, that people are so scared of speaking out in that district. They will even say, I don't know anything, even though they're on a video, you know? So it's very telling.
Sort of the sense, that's definitely the sense I got by him saying those things, because that's so extreme. Like, if you don't remember, you would say, oh, I sort of remember, but it's been a while. I can tell you what I remember. But to be just outright in denial that anything happened with anybody, and that to me just made me think, like, he's afraid. He's afraid of.
He's afraid, and he doesn't want to have like any appearance that he's associating, like assisting me, you know, because in the community, although I have a lot of support in the community, you know, the people who make decisions could, you know, they could say something against him, you know, and that could affect his retirement or his, you know, so, you know, generally there's very few people who will do it. But I also want to say is they didn't hesitate. Like, so I went to the city the day of the trial. I'm sorry, it wasn't the trial. When the first meeting happened, before you became the attorney, and they had this Alex, somebody, as the named attorney, I went that day, and I spoke to several people while I was there. I spoke to Tierman Spencer's clerk. I had somebody with me too, and she looked up stuff, and she said to me, you know what they tried to do? They tried to like sick the police on you. And I said, really? What did they say? And she's like, I can't tell you because you're considered like adversarial. She's like, but I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of stuff in here with your name on it. And I never heard any of that. Like they tried to get me for trespassing. They tried to come after me for, when that didn't work, disorderly conduct. You know.
For this particular
incident? Yes.
Okay, so I did want to ask you about that too, because his lawyer, who no longer, so let me tell you this, because this all of a sudden reminded me too. His lawyer is leaving the law firm, and so now he's transferring the file over to someone else, and that new attorney says that he needs some more time to meet up with Dr.
Tell him to shut up.
Prepare for trial and stuff like that. So he's asked for an adjournment, and we'll see if the court is going to allow that or not. But so at this point, I don't know if trial is going to actually go at the end of the month. But so one thing that Noah, the attorney, had said to me was that they claimed that you had gotten into the building through a door that was only for employees. Okay, tell me about your entrance and things like that.
So I will, even though it's irrelevant, because the building is the building is a public building. I was an employee, so I was an employee.
And that's the other thing that they said was you were technically on leave, so you weren't really an employee at that time. None of that stuff mattered to me because I thought it was irrelevant anyway. But And
it was voting day, by the way. So the building, it was a big voting day. So there were people coming in and out of the building. So the fact that, again, they're trying to... How can you explain, really, the man is three times my size. He's 6'2" and over 300 pounds. I am 5 feet tall and 120 pounds. He purposely slammed me in the door right here and did not release me. I had to work. That's why I have bruises all the way down my arm, because I had to fight my way out of the door. Like, who does that?
Yeah, no kidding.
And I had to, by the time I got to this part, I had to quick pull my fingers, because I was like, my finger's going to get caught in that'll be real damaging if I don't get my fingers out at this last part. And I couldn't even believe it because he knew I was trapped in there, and never did he release pressure on me. He just held me in there harder. And I have never been attacked like that from anybody, you know, in my work setting. And this is all because he's trying to silence me. And not make me able to speak out about all these things that have been going on. And this is all strategic too, because quite frankly, if you have MPS, this is very discriminatory again. If you are an educator and you have a pending assault and battery, they usually terminate you just for that. And I have evidence of them relaying that to other employees. You can no longer work here. Maybe if you're vindicated, you can reapply. But when you are somebody who is working around children and you have a ticket for assault and battery, they usually put you on a leave until the investigation is over. Now, what they've successfully done, and by the way, MPS promoted him after this to a regional superintendent. That again, that's just them smacking me in the face, like purposefully, ha ha ha. You are never going to win any of this, and you need to shut up. Like, what is their defense, that I deserve to be slammed in the door because I came in a certain door? They're claiming.
No, so I'll tell you what I anticipate their defense is going to be. I anticipate they're going to say that when he noticed, because of the history between the two of you, when he noticed it was you, because he says this on body camera, actually, he tells them after the fact, oh, I feared for my life, I'm so scared, and
he
then it was
feared
like
for his life.
Yeah, and then way after the fact, he said something like, oh, I can rest tonight and my family, like he made it seem so dramatic, like I feel so much better, and I was so worried for the safety of myself and my family, and so yeah, that's
based on what?
I don't know. He doesn't really say. He just says that you guys have some of this history. And
well, he's named in a lawsuit, but I haven't had any. We haven't even been in the same room together at all with anything. He's yeah. And this was not for my lawsuit, by the way. This paperwork was for a colleague's, because they dodged, the garbage. They're just playing every kind of legal game to delay.
So interesting also is that, the cops totally empathize with him. They're all feeling really bad for him. Really a small detail that's so insignificant, and he's so petty about it, is that he says it was his birthday. He had a happy birthday document on his door, and when you opened it, it fell to the ground. Like, who the fuck cares? But anyway.
You mean when I was trying to release myself from being in the door?
Trying to release yourself. You got his little happy birthday thing, and it fell onto the ground. And then so later on in the video, the cops call someone at District 3, and then they say, oh, look, we'll get to the bottom of this. If a citation comes to you, Dr. Holliday, just disregard it. We're going to basically cancel that citation.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, it never happened. Yeah, they said that it was just going to be taken care of. Don't even worry about it.
See, and that's why he's just getting, they lie about everything. They do. And they have already violated me in my employment setting by literally locking me in a room. And by the way, I have probable cause on all of that. And they did an extensive investigation, and it's in federal court. Not only did they destroy me that way, they are now basically saying, you are so insignificant and so much of a nuisance that we will even protect this man as he assaults and batters you. Like, I called 911 because they told me to leave the building. He goes, there's a lot of people in the building, that Ingram. Will you just leave? And you can see in my video, that was my only exchange after that. I just went out the door.
Yeah.
And I called 911. So there was I don't know if there was a 911. I asked for it at one point, but they never sent it to me. I called and I told the story, and the woman that I talked to in the 911 call told me to go to my doctor and then go to the police department. So that's exactly what I did. I went directly to my doctor, and I had them document it. And then I went to the district, I think it was District 4 though. I don't know, it's on Fond du Lac and something. So I went there and I reenacted it. I gave them a report, or they made a report, and that was that. And
I'm going to get the 911 call. I'm glad that you mentioned that because I don't have that either. So
yeah, I made a 911 call. I don't know if Holiday did, but the police came. I don't know if that was a result of my call or one of them, but Holiday immediately got on the phone. As he was holding me in the door, by the way, I could hear him calling security on me, which is why that guy jumped up and started walking down the hallway. And I greeted him in the hallway, by the way, when I finally escaped, which they don't show that footage. There's, you will notice that the guy gets up from his chair, and then all of a sudden you just see him coming out of the room. You don't see, how did he get to the hall? How did he get to the room? That's because I had broken free and I ran out in the hallway excited to see somebody to come help me. And what did they do? They walked right past me and took care of him and told me to leave. Which I did. And I never once raised my voice or anything. I basically was like, I was in shock because my whole arm was inflamed. I had to scrape it out.
Yeah, that was a lot of, that's why, as much as they wanted to amend this to something, I'm just like, how can you justify those injuries though? It's not like he had every choice to just, if he didn't want to talk to you and you guys had prior contacts where he didn't want to talk to you, he could have very well just said, if you don't leave, I'm going to call security. That's the professional thing to
Absolutely.
do. Why slam someone's arm in and then continue to hold that when you're that heavy? It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, and that door is heavy. There's no window on it. So as a matter of fact, too, and I don't know if he left this out or not, but there's no window on it. It's a heavy door, and it had not a knob, but it had a lever.
Yeah, like a lever.
Yep. So I 1, 2, 3 knocked. He said, "Come in." So I took this hand, because this hand had the paperwork in it, and I pushed the lever down and I started to step in. The minute he saw me, and this is what's so infuriating about how he is so gaslighting what he did and projecting it onto me. He lunged at me like a wild animal. It was like a lion leaping from his whole desk flew up. And he slammed me in the door. And for him, I'm not going to let this go, because this is how they get away with this stuff. Is they get a little, their friends over in whatever department, let them go away with a lower thing, and then not only can they harm us in our employment, but now they also can physically put bruises on our body and also feel like they had a right to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For what?
Yeah.
And then to tell police officers that he feared his life from me? For what reason?
Yeah. You know what? I think I think I'm gonna play that body cam for you, so that way you can see his statements.
It's going to be upsetting,
Are
yeah.
you gonna be okay watching it?
I'll be okay, yeah. It's just, it's upsetting, but they've done this to me for the last 4 years, so.
Yeah. I just think it might be helpful so that if he's made some allegations and you have, reasons for them, we can counter it a lot more effectively.
Okay.
It's probably going to take a minute here just to download, so why don't we just continue talking all that stuff.
Sure.
Mhm.
No, so I was gonna say you have the surveillance that MPS gave me of me like coming into the building and walking out of the building, and again, a piece of that is missing because it's missing for when I come out of the room and greet the security guard, like as because I was scared. And I waited for him to come, and he just walked past me and went to, take care of Holiday. Now, that's the same guy who's telling you he doesn't, remember if he was, in the space that day.
Yeah.
And then that surveillance takes it all the way to me leaving the building, and then you hear the 911 call. We have my doctor's report, the police reports, and the pictures. And by the way, the next day, I testified in another case, in another one of my colleagues' hearings, and there is a whole transcript of me under oath being questioned by the judge about my injuries and stuff, which were very visible that day.
Okay. Yes, I do have all of the items that you listed. The only things I wouldn't have, and I think if I remember correctly, because I watched these videos a while back, I'm trying to recall if Dr. Holliday said that he called cops too, but I would like to.
I'm sure he did, yeah. Because, I don't know, but I'm sure that he probably did, because he would do that, yeah. He would assault me and then call the police on me, yeah.
Okay, so in terms of just proving your case, a lot of it will just hinge on your testimony, and basically you just going through and explaining exactly what happened. And so you've already done that, and you've done it very articulately, and I think you handled yourself well on video. They told you to leave and you left, and you didn't put up a fight, and you did exactly what you were told. So that shows a calmness about who you were that day and how you handled the situation. So again, I think his defense, he's just going to claim that, and we're going to raise the issue that you are a much smaller person. There's no context that would have given him, reason or justification to have been afraid of you, to have injured you in that manner. It just doesn't make any sense. Even if there was some things going on professionally, that there are different ways that you handle these things.
Right.
In an environment like that. You had security at your fingertips. You could have called them, you didn't. You did, but you should have just done that. So yeah, I think that'll probably be the way that the process will go.
Yeah.
And then my guess is that they're probably going to put Dr. Holliday on the stand. I don't know. But I would think that, they probably would want to counter and to explain like why he felt scared from his standpoint. Because I don't know if you can convey that otherwise, but he may or may not testify. Okay.
And it's all because I'm exercising my legal right because they discriminated against me. And, they just want me to, there are so many things that they have done to me. This is just another one of those things. And I'm waiting for the system to kick in. The city attorney's office agreed with me on my other things. So did the internal affairs at Milwaukee Public Schools, then the DWD, ERD. Now we're in federal court. Like, I'm just waiting for it to kick in, but MPS just will not take any accountability. And what even their board members say, we are legally bullying you. That's what our strategy is. When you have a strong case, our only case is to legally bully you. And I have that on recording from the vice president where they spoke about it at a 5-hour meeting. So these are just more tactics to get me to shut up. And, I'm glad that you're maybe not willing to let him plead down, because he really should not be able to do that. Not only did he physically hurt me, but he's damaged me, and he's also projecting his bad behavior onto me, which is one of the most hurtful parts, I never was unprofessional to you, and I was never violent towards you or even aggressive. I knocked on the door and you said, come in. And I barely got halfway in, and that's when you decided that, you didn't want to deal with this situation, so you felt it was okay to crush me in the door. And it's a very heavy door, by the way. It's one of these old, it is solid wood. Yeah.
So when you talk about this incident or situation that you had and the city attorney has agreed with you, what is that regarding?
So
Not that it's necessarily relevant to this, but now I am a little curious. I'm very curious about what the assistant had told you about.
So there's a whole bunch of reports. Robin Pedersen did an investigation. There were multiple investigations, but Robin Pedersen issued a report stating that under Holliday's direction, the environment was toxic. And he wrote that in a report. And he advised MPS that they would have to take some kind of action to reduce liability with Holliday, because I wasn't even part of that investigation at the time, mind you. I didn't learn about it until into my discovery. Oh my gosh, this person was saying the same thing that I was saying a year and a half ago. And Holliday was ordered to take professional coaching with a consultant, and he refused to do it. And he told the city attorney and his supervisor, I don't agree with this. This is racist, and I need to talk to my attorney. And so for a year, until I filed something, not knowing all this was going on, he refused to do it. And just claimed everybody else was, victimizing him. So he disregarded, and there are multiple reports. Then when mine came in, James Carroll did it. He's not at the city attorney's office anymore. He's at Bulow Vetter. But they've written in there this, that their behaviors were discriminatory. And that's a big deal, because I don't have to explain this to you, but that's the district's attorneys.
Yeah.
That's their own attorneys.
Yeah, right.
That's how egregious it has been.
Wow.
I mean, they
Do
put
you
me...
have those reports?
I have all of them. I have all of them. Absolutely. Okay. But see, here's the problem. I have published. I mean, it's not a problem, but this is why they hate me. I've put them out for the world to see.
Those reports?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I get them both through Open Record and Discovery, and then I publish them on multiple sites so that people can read them and understand what is happening. I also have, Holliday himself when he didn't get promoted right away, he did get promoted later. He filed a equal rights complaint against Dr. Posley, the superintendent, claiming racism.
Okay.
I have that too.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So,
So, what do you think has like scared him enough or them enough to not have fired you yet?
well, I was on leave for the full 3 years, and now I'm retired, and they allowed me to take retirement.
Okay. What was your leave for?
I had a medical. Well, after they locked me in that room for 3 days, like I was very
Okay, wait, can you
Yeah.
backtrack? What in the world is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was the director of literacy, and I made a complaint against Holiday and another person that were like tag teaming discriminatory behavior towards me. And within like 20 business days of me making the complaint, the superintendent called me in and had an attorney. This is so complicated. An attorney reassigned me with 1 day's notice to an unspecified special assignment where I had to clean up my office of 20 some years and go to the basement of this other location. And when I went to the location, mind you, nobody knew I was coming. They had no idea what my position was going to be, but they said, we'll think of something to do with you. And that's in writing. And they put me in a basement, no phone, no computer, nobody else was around. Everybody else was on the 4th floor, but they put me in the basement, made me sit in a room where there was, and I have all records of all pictures and everything. Mouse nest in the corner, yellow piss in a jar in the back of the cabinet. Yeah. Toothbrush, toothpaste, all kinds of paperwork thrown about. And they wanted me to sit in there, which I did do for several days. I had to knock when I wanted to go to the bathroom. I had to go get somebody, and they had to let me into the bathroom. Yes, I was treated like a prisoner. And I was processed and sent over there and made to sit in a room. And so on the 4th day, and mind you, I'd been doing things with internal affairs throughout this whole time frame. And they were trying their best to support me, and I'd been talking to them for hours every day on the phone. And this is all in deposition and everything. On the 4th day, I had a little bit of a heart crisis. I did have to go on heart medicine for about 3 months afterwards, because I was so upset about what was happening. And my doctor said, there's no way on this green earth that I'm sending you back into that environment. And so he wrote that up. And a matter of fact, I had to go by ambulance from a walk-in clinic because my heart rate was so bad. They transported me, and they're like, you're just not going back. And I had been off ever since then.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, the day you were serving him a subpoena, was that the subpoena for the other colleagues?
Yes.
Hearing? Okay.
Jose Garcia Hoven. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what is Jose's complaint against Dr. Holliday? What's the suit about?
Okay, he has 14 probable causes for gender, national origin, religion, race. He's got almost all of them. It's like wild because he's from Colombia. and we worked together. So we endured a lot of the same horrible, horrifying treatment. And, they made fun of him. They made fun of his accent. I mean, so in other words, too, they brought him over, put his face on brochures, and he was in promotional videos. But then when, they didn't like him anymore or whatever, they started to make fun of his accent, call him a Colombian drug lord, and and the final straw was the man had a full-term baby that was stillborn, his wife had a stillborn, and they needled him every single day that he was on FMLA. Just nasty. And tortured the guy.
Oh my God.
It's a race war over there. And there are physical fights in the Central Service Building on a regular basis.
Wow. Oh my God.
Between the adults, I'm talking.
Yeah. Central
yeah.
Service, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you had, prior to your leave and when you were asked to move to that other building, what is Dr. Holliday's role in, the hierarchy with you?
He was my supervisor's supervisor. He had been my direct supervisor, and then they hired a friend to come in and be in between because I made a complaint against Dr. Holliday. So then they in order to, this is classic too, in order to put distance between him and me, they specifically hired a friend of theirs to come in and be nasty to me. And we have all of that, all their back emails and stuff like that. So they brought her in, and with her being, within 6 weeks, she was making all kinds of claims. And it was a result of me making a complaint because they didn't like that I had made a complaint against them to HR.
And then when you say internal affairs, are you talking about internal affairs with the school district or with the police department?
With the school district. So our school district has an office called the Office of Accountability and Efficiency. It's supposed to be a third arm that's independent. They are definitely independent of the administration because they don't report, but they do report to the board. So there was a 5-hour whistleblower related special meeting called on January 21st, 2021. That was regarding my conditions. And our internal affairs, along with the city attorney, presented a script, and they scripted it on purpose so that there would be no debate about what was spoken about, and told them the superintendent because the superintendent wrote to the attorney, she needs her behavior reset. We need to reset her behavior, which is why they moved me to that other location. It was supposed to reset my behavior. And they reported back to the board that this was a problem and that this was discriminatory and retaliatory. And it's a big, long report. They went on for hours and hours, and the board said, we're not going to do anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, what they did say, actually, I take that back. They said, this is the time when he said, when you have a strong case, when the person has a strong case, and he said, you have a strong case, Debbie. This is the vice president on the board. You had a strong case, Debbie. Matt presented it. It was solid. You guys did your work. He said, but what the city attorney and the board decided was, we're gonna exhaust and delay you out of the system, and they have tried everything to do that.
That just blows my mind.
And it's on recording. And the guy he didn't know I was recording him at the time. But later on, he knew. And that was me. Yeah. Like, he was kind of like, dang, Debbie, I didn't know you were recording me. But, I said, well, I have to start doing that because people are stabbing me in the back, literally. Like, and then you're going off somewhere and saying, I did something. I can't have that happen.
Yeah.
It's bad enough. Like, I haven't had income for 3 years. Like, they've taken everything, my health, everything, 27 years. And I had exemplary, not just proficient, exemplary on all of my yearly evaluations. And because I was complaining because we were misspending money, we needed something for students, that's what got me in trouble. So,
okay, so the complaint you filed against Dr. Holliday initially was misappropriation of funding, or what was?
It's very hard to explain. So, like, I had went to Holliday to try to repair some things that needed to be repaired. One of them was a curriculum issue, and one of them was FMLA for subordinates. And during this meeting, again, luckily I always brought people with me. We always, He said, Holliday said, we don't have money for that. We can't buy it. We're not doing it. And then he also said, in terms of FMLA, the teachers were putting on FMLA in these special assignments. They deserve that because they took FMLA and they don't really work anyways. He said that. And when he said that, I looked at my colleague and I said, Dr. Holliday, an employee's FMLA status should have no bearing on what assignment they have. Like, it should not be a deciding factor about, like, and these were punitive assignments, by the way. And he was like, oh, I thought this was a safe space. Well, we went on with our meeting, but I left there and I did a report. And I did a report. It had a lot of boxes checked, actually, because quite frankly, MPS is a complete train wreck and dumpster fire, and like, they are barely doing anything within legal bounds. And people 3 years later to this day contact me on a weekly basis screaming to tell me all the illegal things that they're doing inside. And these are upper level people. Debbie, can you do something about this? Can you do something about this? All the time. So I say that to say, there's so many things a person, we turn our eye, our cheek at like 9 out of 10 things. But this, to me, that was so egregious for, listen, if you're going to reassign somebody because you don't like them, because they took FMLA, major life hell or whatever, don't say it out loud. Like, it's bad enough to do it. We don't want people doing it anyways, but how dumb are you? You just said that aloud in front of 2 witnesses. And my witness has, stood by on that this whole time. So, and then they didn't buy, the curriculum issue was a big issue because we had nothing to give 6th, 7th, and 8th graders for literacy. Nothing, because it completely was defunct. So $160,000 would have cured it, and they told me nope. But then, Miss Lee, this is what they did. Then when they said that this is what they do. They said, you, Debbie, made a mistake, and we have to move you because you did not get these materials that the kids needed. We go back. So the thing that I was complaining about, they then turned around and used against me. Now, in our depositions, you can see for a year, I was rallying every couple of weeks. We got to do something. Please don't ignore this. So, like, I have the whole trail, but how dare you? Like, it's the bigger, they take the thing that they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
make you the villain by that very thing. And if you don't have the documentation, and because I'm a documentation queen, they can get away with it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they usually do.
Yeah, if you could send me some of the things, probably not everything.
No, you won't
but
want it all.
sure.
No.
Yeah.
You'll be buried.
I may not have another, I might not have another, like, life to live.
No, and you,
I
yes.
I'll spend my time doing that. But, yeah, so why don't you send me, at least the city attorney's, orders, that stuff. That'd be great.
Yep. I will.
Any other documents that you think might be helpful for me to have? I guess I could review it and decide if I want to use it or not too. But yeah, I would say that's helpful for me. Not necessarily that this stuff will come in, but if he is going to use the defense of I've known her in another context and I was afraid for my life, then he is going to be opening the door for these past incidences. And I want to be able to be ready to counter those things if that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm really, I'm shocked that we haven't even been, besides that instance, I haven't seen him since before they reassigned me. I haven't even seen him. So
how long was that?
They reassigned me on December 29th of 2020.
Okay. Wow.
And he hasn't even come in, he hasn't even done a deposition, nothing. They've dodged. See, this is the sneaky thing that MPS's attorneys did. And by the way, they have two big companies. They have Von Briesen and they have Bulow Vetter. Both of them. They've paid over $500,000 in 1 year defending this case. But because I have that through open records too. But he
Of course you do.
yeah, I've got the biggest open records request. But what the heck was I going to tell you just now? The reason why I was there is because their attorney said they would accept service for the hearing, which was the next day. They said they would accept service. 24 hours prior, Jose tells me, guess what? The attorneys just said, we're not going to accept service. You have to run around and subpoena all these people. And I said, well, you know what? I live right by Posley. I'm right by central office. I said, I'll go subpoena them this morning. I'll go do it. They can't get out of this. And this was after, his is a 2019 case. We aren't even in the ERD yet.
Oh, wow.
I mean, how long do they expect people to live this way? So anyways, I said, you know what, I'll go there and I'll serve him. Okay. And that's what I did. And I was calm. I came in swiftly. I knew where his office was. And I knocked, and after he slammed me in the door, I left. So, yeah. But I will. I'll send you these things. I'm so sorry that you have to hear about all this garbage and stupid. It's really dumb to have this happen.
I'm sorry you had to go through this. I'm very sorry for you and Jose both, and others. I'm sure there's many, many others. Unfortunately.
Yeah, there is.
And
Unfortunately,
nothing will ever stop until somebody is persistently just pushing it, because everybody lays down, like the security guard acting like he doesn't know, he wasn't there. I don't know. Like, okay, I get it.
Right.
You're afraid for your livelihood and your retirement and things like that, but you're going to be a coward? I mean...
And that's what I'm used to dealing with. It's real. I mean, they will watch people get harmed and they won't say anything. And that's why I'm like, I'm glad that you don't think that I'm being harsh, because I know it looks like I have to take a stance and it looks like I'm being, stern, but somebody has to. I truly believe that. And all the names, I've had to endure a lot of name calling. I've had, just that I'm the problem, but I'm exercising my right, and I know I have not done anything unprofessional or unlawful or aggressive at any of these steps, regardless of what they say about me. So, that's kind of the most upsetting part. So,
yeah. Well, You should be very proud of yourself for being able to have that kind of self-control. Not a lot of people do. So,
Well, thank you. I
exhibit
appreciate
number
that.
1, which we're going to be watching here in just a second.
Okay.
So, let me show you this body camera so you can hear his statements.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to listen from him.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
Let me just expand the window. Okay. Can you hear okay?
Yes. Oh no, I can't hear anything at this point. But
Yeah.
no, and I also want to mention the guy who's at the front right now, like the security guard that's sitting behind that. Yeah, that one. He was the second security guard by the back door. Like I went out the back door because that's the door I always went in and out of.
Okay.
That they were both at the back door. So this man too is he's in one of my videos. You can when I'm talking to him, but I don't hear
I
it.
remember that video. So this door that the officer just came through was the front?
It is the front, right? So, but the parking lot is in the back. Like, so there's
Okay.
no parking in the front. So, like, I parked in the parking lot. And I didn't go all the way around.
Okay. So that back door is not just for employees. I mean, it was open, right? It wasn't locked. You don't need a key card or anything like that. to
Correct.
walk through.
Nope, you don't.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna restart the video because I probably didn't check the audio button.
Yeah.
You can hear?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Excuse us. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, look at how crowded it is there.
Hello. Looking for 204 right down this way? 204 is right there. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Yep. No, you're good.
Hello. Dr. Howard?
Hello.
Hi, Howard.
How are you?
Good. Okay, I'm just gonna show her Dr. Howard.
You know why we're here? Did you happen to see anything?
No, it's not.
You heard? Okay, I might come talk to you in a moment if that's okay. Thank you. Dr. Halliday?
Yes.
Hey, Partner Officer Hernandez. All right, if we have a seat?
Yes, that's what I was
Thank you. All right.
in around about, roughly about, I'm thinking around about 10:15. I was in my regional meeting. I serve as the regional superintendent for the Northwest region, where I oversee 24 schools. So I was I was on my Zoom meeting with the principals and the other regional team members, and I heard a knock at my door. And when I heard yes, sir, right here. When I heard the knock at the door, and it's mine, I got up to go see who was at the door. And when I opened it, I positioned myself just like this. When I saw the person.
He was sitting at his desk, like.
Something around him, like a mask. But I was able.
So he did not get up.
Nope, he said, come in. I knocked on the door and he said, come in. And I opened the lever of the door and I got partially in, and he was still at his desk, and he flipped. He jumped up so fast from his desk that like stuff flew off of his desk. I mean, not that that's, yeah.
Yeah.
I was her. I immediately attempted to push the door back.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, he immediately tried to push the door back.
Okay.
Pushed the door back on me. She thrust her arm through the door. And I said, no, you're not coming in my office. And then as I was pushing back and she was pushing on me, she threw some paperwork in here and said, you've been served. And then my picture that was on the door for my birthday was on the floor.
Yeah,
so
petty.
I'll follow up with you. I'll be able. Yeah, I'm good to understand. I just have the office. Yeah, I'm kind of saying thank you for checking. And so I pushed the door back and I went straight over to my phone and I dialed this extension 58734, which is the secretary. I said, call the police. I said, I have Deb Kuether down here who is trying to force her way into my office. Now, it gives some context so it's not seeming really strange. I used to serve as chief academic officer for the district. This person used to be in the office where I supervised. And literally, she has smeared my name publicly on social media as well as in the news media. So you Google Jeremiah Holiday, you see all of this negative.
And that's what he's mad about.
I've been doing this for 20 years and never had a blemish on my record. So I don't know
And
why
that's
this
not
person
true
was
either.
coming to my door. So when I saw her, I'm like, I don't have anything to say to you, and I don't even know why she was even in the building. But all to say, so the paperwork, I never did pick it up off the floor. When I called down to Kelly Polachek, who is the secretary, apparently, of course, she notified my chief, Dr. Cotton. And so Dr. Cotton and the superintendent, Dr. Posley, they hurried over, but then Chief Cotton got her escorted out of the building, from what I'm told, because once he left out of the building, the safety, Mr. Ingram, came up and said to me, Dr. Holiday, she's out of the building. I escorted her off the premises. She was saying something about you closed the door on her arm and wanted me to take a picture. And he said, I didn't see anything on her arm. That's what he said too. So that was their conversation. That's Mr. Ingram, the safety.
The same guy that says he doesn't remember anything about this.
Right.
He left. Then Dr. Posey called for the chief of HR, who is Madeline. She came up and she retrieved. Matter of fact, she picked this picture was on my door from her pushing in, trying to get into my office, her being Deb Kuether. And the paperwork that she threw in the office, Chief Madeline, I didn't touch it, picked it up. And so Chief Madeline looked at the information and she said, oh, this is a letter for Jose Garcia, who is an employee of the district. Mind you, Deb Kuether is an employee of the district, but she's been on leave for the past couple of years. And so, with that being said, upon Madeline picking it up, so it's for Jose Garcia, something in regards for me to testify, which I don't have anything knowledge in terms of what they would even ask. And so, from that conversation, there was a check attached to the document, and the chief has that if you want to see it.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
So and the check was made out with my name on it, but it was a personal check. So with whatever, with an amount on it, but for Garcia, some hearing that will have to take place tomorrow. Chief Madeline said you don't have to go to any hearing. I'll be at the hearing with the city attorney. So whatever that deal, I didn't know why this person was at my door, but Deb Kuether.
Is she still employed with you guys?
She is still employed in the district, but on leave from what the HR.
So she's what, working as a process server?
I don't know. She's working with some attorney. She has a pending lawsuit against the district.
Okay.
And so I guess she's working with him doing whatever. I did learn too that she also went to the superintendent's house, banging on the door at the superintendent's house to serve.
I have that recorded
papers.
too.
And so his wife called him, and so that's how I found it. And I getting all this information. At this point, I'm concerned about my safety. Now, when you look at me, I'm a big black man and I own it. I have no problem with that. And you have a white female who's about this tall, but you're pushing your body. I don't know what you're coming to do to me.
Absolutely.
A gun doesn't have nobody name on it. So literally, I have had no contact with this person. Mm-hmm. This person, unfortunately, we lost one of our principals this year.
Yeah, from North Division.
Yeah, North Division. So
yeah, I worked with him quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so I went to the funeral. And as I was walking in, I saw Deb Kuether and others that from the district.
Sure.
I'm a Mississippian. Good morning. And everybody said good morning. She intentionally said, good morning, Dr. Holiday. How are you? With a smirk on her face, right? And I nicely said good morning. But the idea is now you're being really condescending to me. Like, you've already, literally, if you put my name in, you see all the nasty stuff that has been said about me, even on the social media. And I don't track this. People have sent this to me. So now you're at my door, and I'm like, how did she even get in the building? So I made it clear to HR, I'm concerned about my safety because when I go out to the parking lot, nobody just walking me out. And to get this early in the morning, it concerned me. And I immediately, because I was following protocol, I won't just dial 911.
Right.
But I said, okay, let me follow protocol, call the secretary, call 911. And unbeknownst to me, she did not make that call at the direction of her chief, at Dr. Cotton. And so then after I got everything situated, I told the chief, I said, I'm going to call the police because now you're going to have somebody saying, I assaulted you.
Yeah.
And you coming in on me and I'm trying to close the door. I'm not coming in my office.
Your intent was never to hurt her.
No, absolutely
Your intent
not.
was to keep her away from you.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah, his intent was just to keep you away from him. Okay, you want to continue here?
Sure.
All right.
generally, anybody who comes through here, my door is always closed. And I keep like, that's just been a practice of mine as a principal.
Sure.
And for her to come in, I'm like, how did she get in this building? Well, it's voting day. And so, yes.
So that was done on purpose.
And then this thing, I don't know who's working with her in this building to say, Holiday is in and Posley is in. That's neither here nor there. But right now, I just have I'm concerned about my safety.
Sure.
And to come to work and be attacked, I want to go home to my wife and 4 kids.
Right.
To come to work and be attacked.
I feel like, let me place this call because I know I'm not going to conceal anything, because as I was making the call to my attorney, the HR director, the HR chief, Madalena, was calling me. I did go out to say who witnessed. None of the ladies was out here from what they told me. Mr. Orozco, who is HR specialist, he was in his office and he said, and then Paul, who is next to him, heard, but they didn't see anything. But that's something you all can talk about.
Yeah, we'll do that. So before we get too far ahead, let's just gather some information. So
I'm sorry, let me grab the water and get it powered out.
no, go ahead, sir.
And if you want water, there's water behind you.
No, thank you. Appreciate it, though.
Okay, so what is your date of birth?
8/21/72.
72.
8/21/72.
Just to verify the spelling of your name, could you spell your last name?
HOLIDAY.
Did he say it was his birthday? Because this is not that it matters. This is November. Like, his birthday, it sounds like it's in August. Why is he?
Yeah.
Whatever. So he just, I'm just laughing again about
That
his
is really
birthday.
Or like if it, right, and if it was no longer his birthday, he kept it on the door all these months.
See, that would be him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
REMIAH.
Do you have a middle initial?
No middle. My work number is 414. This is my mobile you called on. 550-8000.
Home address?
142 Caraway Place, that's Caraway Place, Sun Prairie.
Well, you got a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, drive to Sun Prairie. Been in the district almost 9
Is it like
years.
45 minutes or something?
Sun Prairie about an hour.
Hour?
From this office, an hour. But if I'm out in my schools in the northwest side, it's about an hour and 15.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. I was supposed to do it for a year, and I'm like crazy guy. I'm from Mississippi, so you have to travel long distance.
Sure.
Like,
Do you have a-
meditation time.
Do you have a work email we can get from you as well?
Work email is HOLIDAJJ at Milwaukee.K12.WI.
So it's Milwaukee.K12?
Yes,
K12.WI?
yes. .US.
US.
Yes.
And your title again, sir?
Regional Superintendent. And I'm under principal.
So this happened about like 10-15?
About 10-15-ish. Yeah.
Do you happen to have Deborah's information?
I do not, other than I do have a cell phone number.
Okay.
That's the most I, let me see. Yeah, I don't know if it's still the same.
DBRA.
DEBRA or DEBORAH. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, and the last name is Kuether, Kuether.
Got that? How you spell?
Kuether.
You said she's white.
Correct. And the number that I have from 414-333-5425.
Have you reported any of the smear campaigns or anything to the police?
I have not. When I talked to, I did talk to my attorney about it when it first came out. And I also talked to the superintendent and the chief here. They did not do a rebuttal because they were saying it's under investigation.
Okay.
And so the most I got was just, don't fuel the fire.
Sure.
Because literally my name is called. Like Dr. Jeremiah Holiday and Papa Fisher. Like, and I'm not even the superintendent. At that time, I was the chief academic officer. Dr. Posley is the big guy. So I did not contact the police about the smear campaigns or anything like that and what was being said.
Can I just say something here? Not that it's relevant or not, but like what he's calling is the smear campaigns is all primary source documents. So like I'm very savvy in knowing how to republish something and how, like, nothing that he is saying is a smear campaign. It's all factual. It's all of open public legal record. And you know, he's just mad about it because it's exposed. You know,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of interesting that he is calling it a smear campaign, but it is I put without commentary. I just list, you know, the documents raw, unedited, and people can review those.
Yeah.
So that's why they can't do anything, because they're
Right.
they're legal records.
Yeah. You're not like defaming him.
Right.
Just putting
Because
the
it's
information
true.
out for people.
Right. It's
decision.
factual. Yeah.
Okay.
Investigation.
So she knocks on the door. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
So she comes knocking on the door to try to serve you some papers. And then...
Wait, just so I understand correctly, she knocks on the door.
Sure.
You're in a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
So just because you're in a Zoom meeting, you want to be a little discreet, so you just gotta
Yes.
pop the door open like this. That's
Yes,
normal.
correct.
And you see, what do you see at that time?
I just see that it's her face, but she's the door back. Closed, she was pushing back up against me to force her way into the office, my office.
So you saw a short, white female.
Correct.
And what'd you
That
say
part
about
is
what she was
true.
wearing?
I couldn't see what.
Like the stuff on her head?
It seemed like she has a headgear on, something. I don't know what it was.
I had a winter hat on.
Like, you know what color it was?
I don't, because it was like
It was great.
really quick, and when I just saw the face, I immediately.
So as far as that mask, did it look like like the medical masks for COVID, or just?
It just seemed like only thing I really could see was just this.
Okay.
So I apologize. I don't have any details.
That's okay.
So what'd you say she shot into in here? Like the paperwork?
She threw some paperwork, and it landed there on the floor, and she said, "You've been served." And and then when I got my door closed and locked, and as I was calling Kelly to say, "Call the police," she yelled out to me, "Not a good idea, Dr. Holiday, not a good idea."
That's when I was stuck in the door. I was saying,
Right.
"You're assaulting me." I said that, and I bet that people next door are going to say that.
So you're pushing back, and at some point in time, she just shoots her arm in.
Yeah, arm is inside the door there. And I'm like, "You're not coming in my office," with her pushing her body weight up against my door, trying to force her way in. And finally, when she saw, "No, I'm not letting up, you're not getting in my office," and she heard me say that, that's when she threw the paper and then snatched her arm out the door. And I was
Snatched her
able to
arm out, yeah, because you crushed it.
close the door and lock it.
Must not have been pushing that hard if she can get her arm out.
Oh my
Ah.
Lord. Did you really? Did you really?
She was yelling, "Not a good move."
Yeah.
Wow.
She said that after you said you were calling the police, or?
Yes, because I picked up the phone immediately once I got, and I said to
It was when I was stuck in the door. I said that.
in
Yeah.
my office, trying to get into my office. She's at my office door, is what I said to Bojack.
So she said, "Not a good move, Dr. Holloway."
Holiday, yes.
I'm sorry. Would you recognize her voice if you heard it?
Oh, yeah.
So it's safe to say you've had extensive interactions with her in the past. You know exactly what she sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. So even though you couldn't quite make out what she was, you knew it was her just because the body size.
Right, and then looking here in the face.
And the eyes, okay, and then the voice, obviously, okay. So, again, the two gentlemen with the offices right here heard it?
Yes. Jason Orozco, and then Miss Paul next to his.
Okay. Oh, so it's Jason Orozco and Miss Paul?
Yeah. These two ladies, they weren't out there.
Nope, nobody else was out there.
I got myself together about an hour later.
What did you say?
I did say he's right, because after I got stuck, so the language he's saying right now, he's making it sound like I stood outside his door and yelled that. That was when I was trapped in the door, and it took me a while to get out. After I got out, I also asked, because I actually know Pa. Pa was one of the subordinates that he put on FMLA. Like, I know her. And I went to their doors, or I kind of walked over there before I met the security guard in the hallway. I said, "Did anybody see that?" Like, because I couldn't believe it. I had just gotten out. I was like, "Did anybody see that?" And Pa came to the door, her office door. They were both Orozco and Pa were back in their offices, so they did not like visually see anything. But I'm be interested. I'm sure they're gonna say that they heard me say, "You just assaulted me," because that's what I did say. And Pa said to me, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Debbie. I didn't see anything." And I was like, ugh. And so then I just went out in the hallway, and that's when I met the security guard.
Okay. So Orozco and Pa would not have seen anything, but they would have heard you say, "You just assaulted me."
They had to have heard it, because when I was stuck in the door, when he's saying to me, "Not a good move," when he just repeated, not a good move, Holiday. I was saying that when I was stuck in the door. I was saying,
Yeah.
you need to let me go. You are assaulting me. This is not a good move. This is not a good move. That's what I was saying when I was stuck in the door trying to get out.
Yeah. Okay. Debbie, we may have to continue this another day. I have
Sure.
an appointment that's here.
Yes, no, I understand.
So, so let's leave this here, and then let me check the calendar, because assuming that let's see. So assuming the trial doesn't get moved, that's on the
5th.
5th. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at least another conversation. I would have time on the 18th. Could we chat that day?
Yes, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay, alrighty. And then is 9 o'clock okay with you?
Yes, that works.
Okay. Then we'll continue this then, and we'll send you a Zoom link so that we can finish this video too. I'll make a note of where we left off.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your
Okay.
time and your understanding and assistance.
Yes, okay. Well, I hope that we get the result here for you.
Thank you.
And okay.
Okay.
I'll talk to you
All
again
right.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.